For nearly 30 years, Muni's Breda light rail vehicles have been the workhorses of San Francisco. Whether dashing underground or speeding through crowded city streets, these urban stallions are the icons of a beloved city, no doubt present in the memories and minds of residents and tourists, both young and old. But time is running out. Age brings wear and tear, and one by one, the hardworking Bredas are disappearing. It's up to you and all of us here at the Western Rail Museum to preserve car number 1534, the last Breda LRV. Will you help tell their story? After the Second World War, many of North America's streetcar lines were removed and replaced by buses. San Francisco was no exception. Between 1945 and 1949, over 24 streetcar lines were replaced by buses. By 1956, only 5 routes remained: the J, K, L, M, and N lines. Thanks to special infrastructure like the Liberty Hill Bypass, the Twin Peaks and Sunset Tunnels, all designed to conquer the city's mighty hills, the high patronage lines were saved. But one problem persisted: Market Street. Worsening traffic on Market Street clogged streetcars and delayed riders. In the 1960s, city planners aimed to solve this through BART, who envisioned a double-decker subway down Market. Originally, the lower deck would serve the regional BART system, while the upper deck would serve a proposed metropolitan subway. But due to BART's already ballooning costs, this idea was quickly abandoned. However, Muni was enthralled by the idea of taking streetcars off Market. So, they took over the upper deck for local services. However, they unfortunately failed to specify platform designs. Failure to do so meant the platforms were built to BART specifications, basically the same length and height of a BART train. Having these raised platforms meant Muni's aging PCC streetcars, which boarded at ground level, could not use the sleek new subway. As a result, a new car was needed. Luckily, thanks to government efforts to keep Vietnam-era defense contractors employed, designs came out for a new standard light rail vehicle, or SLRV for the Urban Mass Transportation Administration, who intended to replace the tired PCC streetcars across the country. In 1973, Boeing's helicopter division, Vertol, began designing the new SLRV for both Muni and the MBTA in Boston. The first cars were delivered in 1979, 1 year after the subway was finished. The new SLRV would debut in the Muni Metro on February 18, 1980, opening a new chapter in SF transit history. Originally, Muni Metro was only open on the weekdays when there was heavy commuter traffic. Weekend service continued on Market Street with PCC streetcars until 1982, when Muni Metro finally assumed all local operations. After a century of domination, streetcars were finally off congested Market Street. Now defunct, PCC streetcars were promptly retired and sold off, with most being scrapped. Of course, 2 cars were luckily saved, number 1016 and 1153, which are now on display and occasionally operate at the museum.
So the Oakland A's take.
Hey, what we're having
On October 17, 1989, the Loma Prieta earthquake shook the Bay Area awake. Rocking at a devastating magnitude of 6.9, the quake ravaged the Bay, particularly affecting San Francisco. Neighborhoods like the Marina crumbled under the soft soil, while transportation arteries like the Vital Bay Bridge and the Embarcadero Freeway were shuttered due to collapse or damage. Despite this, Muni Metro emerged unscathed. Once power was restored, trains quickly began ferrying shaken residents throughout the city, reconnecting families and aiding in vital relief efforts. After Loma Prieta, San Francisco would embark on another renaissance, this time with the start of the dot-com boom. San Francisco rose quickly from the ashes of Loma Prieta. With the rapid innovations of Silicon Valley rocking the world, the city's population exploded, rising from 724,000 in 1990 to a whopping 776,000 in only 10 years.
Tonight, the information superhighway and one of its main thoroughfares, an online network called Internet.
A major component of this was the birth of the Internet. The Internet, as we know it today, was started in 1991 when the World Wide Web opened. In the early 90s, internet browsers such as Mosaic and Netscape were created, giving internet users an easier way to navigate the new World Wide Web. By 1996, there would be over 100,000 websites on the internet. Many businesses were created thanks to this, bringing a new boom for San Francisco as they based their headquarters in the city's bustling financial district. But, as the city entered a tech renaissance, commuters began rushing en masse to the subway. Muni Metro began to feel this strain, with trains becoming overcrowded during the chaotic rush hour commute. The Boeing cars were ill-equipped to absorb the soaring demand. To make matters worse, they would average only 2,000 miles before breaking down and causing system-wide delays. Muni needed to figure a way out to alleviate pressure. Help would ultimately come in the form of new LRVs. In the early 90s, Italian-based Breda was chosen to replace the stricken Boeings. Breda had been in the railroad industry since 1886, first building steam engines before progressing to develop unique electric and diesel-electric locomotives. By the late 80s, Breda was looking to tap into the new light rail market. Pursuant, they built a concept car to attract potential customers, calling it the aptly named Very Light Rail Car, or VLC. Muni initially ordered 35 new cars from Breda in 1991. Strikingly similar to the VLC, they would bring a new look for Muni, their battleship gray and maroon paint scheme harkening back to the system's original livery. Breda would end up branding many of their concept and production vehicles with this gray and red look. On January 12, 1995, the first of 4 prototypes arrived from Pistoia, Italy. For the rest of the fleet, the car bodies would be built in Italy and then assembled at Pier 80 in San Francisco. After extensive testing and operator training, the new LRV2s were ready to enter service. On December 10, 1996, Breda number 1400 would enter service with then Mayor Frank Jordan at the controls. San Francisco would enter a new age, welcoming the next step in modern transit to the bustling city. Initially, riders complained about noises and vibrations in service, with Muni later finding that the cars were 10,000 pounds over what Breda had promised them. Despite this, Muni would make additional orders for more LRV2s between 1992 and 1996, eventually bringing the roster up to 77 cars. In 1998, Muni made another order for 59 cars. Classed as the LRV3, they aimed to rectify the problems of its predecessors with more reliable doors, a third brake control unit, and step extensions in the center doors. One last order of 15 cars in 1999 brought the fleet up to 151 cars by 2003. By the end of production, they cost nearly $2.6 million per car, the most expensive LRVs ever built to date. With this, the last Boeing SLRVs were retired in 2002. Like its predecessors, number 1258 was thankfully saved and preserved at our museum, where efforts are currently underway to keep this part of San Francisco history running.
There's something coming, and it's gonna move you. Wherever you live, wherever you want to go, in San Francisco, this is how we roll. The new T3rd Street. From the new SFMTA. Come take a ride on the T.
Adapting to new population growth, Muni would soon expand its metro service south with the T3rd line. Opened on January 13, 2007, the T was the first new Muni line since the N opened in 1928. It followed new demographic patterns brought on by the dot-com boom, notably the redevelopment of Dogpatch and new service demands in Bayview, Hunters Point, and Visitation Valley. As the Muni Metro began to expand, the Breda LRVs would begin to face many of the same issues that Boeing SLRVs did at the end of their lives. The Breda cars were only averaging about 8,000 miles before an issue would occur and, likewise, cause system-wide delays. It was once again time for another generation of light rail vehicles to take their place. By 2010, the population of San Francisco grew to 800,000 people. Muni was once again beginning to feel the pressure of congestion. Ansaldo Breda proposed to rebuild both the LRV2s and 3s in a midlife rebuild. However, San Franciscans had had enough of these overweight cars and desired something new. As the city expanded, Muni began requesting bids for a new 4th generation of LRVs to meet demands. Bids from CAF, Kawasaki, and Siemens were pre-qualified, while Breda was disqualified from making a bid. Ultimately, in 2014, the contract was awarded to Siemens Mobility for the purchase of 175 cars, the beginning of the end for the Bredas. Built in Florin, California, the new off-the-shelf S200 cars had already proven their keep in Canada, where positive reviews about them emanated from Calgary. On January 6, 2016, the first Siemens cars would arrive to much fanfare. As more came, Muni would begin retiring and scrapping Bredas to make room for newer cars, with the first Bredas leaving in 2021. By December 12, 2023, the last LRV2 was retired. Steadily, Muni began sending one car a week to be scrapped. In 2021, volunteers from our Boeing 1258 maintenance crew were invited to learn about maintaining the aging Bredas. There, after touring Muni shop complexes, they determined it was well within the museum's ability to preserve and maintain an LRV3. After recognizing their withdrawal from service, in May 2025, volunteers rode cars number 1534 and number 1532 on an excursion down the El Taraval line. Little would they know that one of these cars they were riding on would one day be the last LRV3s left. In July, Muni asked us to pick what cars we wanted to save for preservation. Out of the remaining 30 cars, number 1534 was chosen, the best in mechanical and physical condition. These Bredas have now served the city of San Francisco well for 30 years. In moving millions of people, they're witnesses to the many facets of a city in transition, one marked with growth, rocked by recession, and high with optimism. They're symbols of a system who met change with resourcefulness and icons of a city that never sleeps. As stewards of transit history, we want to save Muni number 1534 from the scrapyard. In recognition of their rich history, we want to preserve a Breda as the ultimate symbol of a city in transition for current and future generations. It's easy to tell a story through pictures and words, but nothing beats the look and feel of a real, living artifact. But, as Bredas fall to the scrapper's torch day after day, we're going to need your help. It's going to take $15,000 to save number 1534. With your generous donations, we'll be able to save, bring, and preserve this legendary car at our museum. Here, it will join a collection of San Francisco transit artifacts dating all the way back to 1883 to preserve a story 142 years in the making. The question remains, will you help tell that story? Please donate online at WRM.org and help us by spreading the word. From everyone here at the Western Railway Museum, thank you, and we truly mean it, thank you for watching.